everyone, and welcome to another beer review. This is a quick beer review. Oh, and the camera, that's good. What we're going to look at today is a quick beer review of Stella Artois. You're thinking, why? Well, I haven't drunk Stella Artois since it was 5%, which was many years ago. And since then it's dropped down to 4.8, and now they've dropped it down to 4.6. So let's see, has it really changed? Has it made any difference to the beer? Has it made it better or worse? Let's see what happens. Have they actually really improved the product by dropping the alcohol content? Or is it just a commercial thing to increase profits or whatever? So yeah, so we'll have a quick look at it. Now, I'll be honest, I'll do a caveat here. I don't mind lagers. I like lagers, especially in the summer. They're quite enjoyable. What I don't particularly like is the kind of lagers with a kind of strong kind of chemical aftertaste, and I've always associated Stella Artois as one of them. Not as bad as some other ones, like say 1664 and all that, but a lot of these kind of more commercialised international beer brands, especially in the lager segment, can be quite harsh, to the point is that some people say that it's not really proper beer, it's just alcohol with beer flavouring. I honestly can't say that's truthful or not, but it would probably provide some answers to some of the flavours you would probably get, some of the tasting notes you would get from some of these international beers. But I would say, out of them, I would probably avoid Stella as much as possible, just because it's just not my cup of tea. It's not my kind of flavour profile. I just didn't like the flavour at 5%, so I used to try and avoid it. If it was offered to me and there was nothing else, then yes, I would take it, but I would always try and look for other options if possible. Now, it's also got a bad reputation in a lot of other ways. It has a nickname of wife beater, which, let's be totally honest, isn't a particularly nice name to have, because again, it's one of these type of mass produced beers that people drink a lot of, and unfortunately they get themselves out of control if they drink too much. And then of course that kind of behaviour that's associated with people being out of control in alcohol tends to kind of stick to the kind of product that they've been drinking. So yes, would Stella Artois make you a wife beater? I don't think so. I think that's really down to the person themselves. Maybe the alcohol would help bring some of these issues and problems to the surface, but I think that would be any type of alcohol and not just Stella Artois, so I think that's a bit unfair. So I'm not going to go down and prejudge them on that point of view. This is a judgment just quickly on whether the 4.6, is it any more palatable, is it any better, and is it worth the money? I think it's roughly about £5 for a 4-pack just now. You can check Google for any kind of currency exchange rates. So let's give it a quick go. Let's crack it open and see if it's any good. Right, here's the pour. It's typical lager, plenty of carbonation. You can hear it crackling away. Ooh. And let's see what it's like. As you can see, very kind of light in colour, plenty of carbonation, a good head. How long it will last, who knows, but it's not so bad. Smell wise, you're getting that kind of nondescript lager smell. It's like you can't identify anything with it, you just, that kind of generic lager smell. Kind of beer-like, but sweet. Don't have the maltiness or the hopness or all you're getting is beer and a kind of sweetness when you smell. You can smell it. But as you can see, it's going down a wee bit, but yeah, it's an alright head. It's not a tight, or what I would like to say is a kind of a good foundation head, good strong head. It's one of these ones where it could disappear on you. Yeah, I think it just depends on the glass, but as you can see, plenty of carbonation. So, let's find out. Right. It's not overly sweet, it's not hoppy. There's a bit of Christmas to it, but nowhere near what a good lager would be. A good lager's got a good kind of dry crispiness. It doesn't have it, but there is a bit there. The biggest thing I have noticed between drinking this here, just right now, and my memory of drinking Stella Artois 5% is it doesn't have that strong chemical kind of aftertaste, that kind of chemically kind of bitterness that you would get. It doesn't have it. It kind of almost shifts as if it's going that way, but it's just not there. It kind of starts like, here we go, and it just drops off completely. So I think that might be down to the drop in alcohol. I think, yes, by dropping it from 5% to 6% has taken off the kind of pure aftertaste that I didn't like. So it's not really present. There's still nothing really to kind of identify. There is a kind of aftertaste. It's not as strong. There is a bit of kind of chemical aftertaste. It's not a natural hop aftertaste or a natural malt aftertaste or anything like that. It's just, it's gassy, by the way. Yeah, it's just not really there. There is a slight there, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. And it makes it kind of, I suppose, blander, less of a body. I mean, at least you could identify it. I mean, if I was basically drinking Stella Artois previously, as a kind of blind tasting, I'd be able to identify certain beers, and Stella would be one of them, just because of that kind of type of aftertaste it's got. It's not particularly sweet, but it's not particularly, like I say, crisp or bitter or anything like that. There's just not that kind of dryness to it. Just nondescript is probably the best way of putting it. Bland, I would probably say. So, as dropping it down to 4.6% from the original 5% via the 4.8, has it improved it? Well, it's taken away a lot of the bad aftertaste that I didn't like, so it's improved it that way. From drinking it at the start of the tongue, and the kind of midway through it flows over the tongue to the back, it's quite bland. The first two stages, front, middle of the tongue and the mouth, no, it's quite bland. There's nothing really there. It just is like a generic kind of mass-produced lager. I would probably say the 4.6% alcohol ABV is probably going to make it easier to drink. As you can see, it's still kind of alive. It's not dead in any way, shape or form. You do expect, obviously, with lagers that the head's going to drop. It's not going to stay as strong as ales and some of the other things like stouts. But it's not too bad, and I don't have to shake it, as you can see, and there is lacing on the glass, as you can see. So, I mean, it's acting like a good beer. Should, of this type, like a lager, but yeah, it makes it easier to drink, I would say. And if you're enjoy drinking Stella Artois, whether you're down the pub or at home or having a barbecue with friends, then that might be a good thing. Would I recommend it? As a personal choice, no. But I'm not going to dish it or put it down for what it is. Stella Artois is what it is. It's a mass-produced lager for the masses. It's brewed to a certain price point, and it does what it says in the tin. Just this time now, it's no longer 5% or 4.8%, it's now 4.6%. And if you live with the 4.6%, which is still an okay alcohol volume for a lager, it's not really that bad. Again, 5% is a kind of sweet spot. Yeah, 4.6, if you can live with that, then I don't see it as a big problem. The main thing is price. How does that affect the price? Has the price gone down since it's went down to 4.6? If it hasn't, then it's more of an exercise of increasing profits for the company than kind of improving the product. I don't really think the brewers of Stella Artois are doing it to improve the product. It does maybe improve the drinkability, palatability of the actual alcohol, and it might make it easier for people to drink more, so they can maybe gain more money that way. But then of course, if they're reducing the alcohol content and still selling it for the same price, then of course that increases the profit margins as well, because of alcohol duty in different countries and everything else, but especially in the UK, a drop going from 5% down to 4.6% in beer does actually have quite a reduction in the duty paid on the alcohol content of the beverage. So would I recommend it? I would not recommend it. If I think if you want an affordable lager and you're not really looking for a complex flavour structure or a nice crisp dryness or that type of stuff, and you just want something to kind of wet the whistles of, it's good to have if people are coming around for a barbecue or popping around for visiting, then yeah, go for it. Would I personally choose it? No. It's lost some of the nastiness that I didn't like about it, but at the end of the day, it hasn't really gained anything else, and that's the problem. I mean, at least I can identify and kind of relate to the nastiness that I didn't like. Now there's nothing really to relate to it. It's like a generic bland beer. I mean, simple as that. So, would I actually put it in my fridge? No. Just not my cup of tea from that point of view. There's, in my view, better lagers or light ales that I would rather spend the money on than Stella Artois. But hey, everyone's different. It's not to do with a snobbery value or anything like that. It's just Stella Artois is just not my cup of tea. It's better than it was, but it's still, in my view, it's highlighted how bland the other kind of flavour profiles are by removing the kind of nasty kind of aftertaste, in my view. So, would I buy it again? No. What marks would I give it out of 5? Well, I'm going to give it 2. I'm going to give it 2 scores. A score as a personal score, and a score as a kind of, well, what it really is. As a personal score, I would probably give it 1.5. I'll be fair, 1.5, because there is certain things with it that you could say. So I'd say I'd give it 1.5 out of 5 from a personal point of view. As a kind of an independent kind of beer review, that I've never drunk it before, then I would probably give it maybe a 1.8, maybe 1.9. It's a lively enough beer, it's generic lager, it's not offensive, all that. In fact, I'll be honest, I'll give it a 2, right? I'll give it a 2. It's not offensive, it's affordable, does what it says in the tin, it's 4.6. If it was 4.6 from the very start, then people wouldn't really complain about it. When you're looking at other ones like a good example is 10x lager, it's only 4%, that type of stuff. So 4.6 isn't a low alcohol content, but of course if you're going from 5 down to 4.6, then yes, that is. But look, it's still lively, it's less in the glass, it's easy to drink. So yeah, I would give it a 2 out of 5, and yeah, enjoy it on a nice summer's day. So that's all I can really say. So thanks for watching, and